Hello everyone! With this video I'm going to try to cover different builds or playstyles of the new Harbinger Elite for Necro that's coming with End of Dragons. Right now we are in the beta, so there might be changes coming, but we'll see. In this video I'm going to show some general stuff in the first section of the video. Then I will be going to show some PvE builds, mostly for endgame PvE. And at the end of the video I'll be testing or showing some Harbinger builds for World vs World, mostly for roaming, because I don't think that Harbinger will be a good Zerg class or stronger than Scourge in a Zerg. So if you're interested in some particular build, you will find some timestamps in the description below. So for the general part of this video, I'll be showing some interactions of traits, for example transfusion, but if you don't know what the Harbinger does, please go watch the What of ArenaNet stream when they showed all 3 elite specs of this beta. So first will be transfusion, and transfusion works a little bit different on this character. Normally it would proc on a Shroud skill 4, which it doesn't. On this character it actually procs on Shroud 5. Well, there's quite some interactions between traits and stuff, but I'm going to cover one thing more that is a bug in my opinion right now. So let's look at our stats. Right now I have around 50% Condi duration, and because of this trait right here, the Gunslinger, I'll be converting Vitality to Expertise, so condition duration. And if I take this trait right here, Vital Persistence, it should increase my condition duration, but right now it doesn't. The first PvE build will be the full condition damage Harbinger. As you can see, the traits right here, pretty straightforward. I'm going to use 3 elixirs to maximize my blight. And for the equipment I went for Vipers with Tormenting Rune and Sinister Weapons with Bursting and Torment Sigils. As weapons I use Scepter, Dagger and Pistol. Get into it. So the idea is to, like all condition damage necro builds, transfer your self-inflicted conditions from Blood is Power or a Plague Lance with your Deathly Swarm, and the second trigger of the Blood is Power will be sent by Plague Sending, so you don't lose too much life force on the golem. Maybe if you have a healer with you, it might be better to take Insidious Disruption, so your pistol 3 skill will actually inflict 1 more stack of torment. But right now I'm going with this, and that's the best numbers I got. Yes. So I'm going to spawn the golem. The opener will be drink all elixirs first, and then go Plague Lance, Blood is Power, send them away, use pistol skills, swap to Scepter, use the 3 and the 2 skill, use my second Bloodless power, and then go into Harbinger Shroud. And then we're kinda looping all of this. So let's start. The next will be the quickness boon version of the Harbinger. You can see my traits here. It's pretty straightforward, just the trait to share the elixirs and give quickness while in Harbinger Shroud. I am using the gear as follows. I have Firebrand rune with full Viper stats, and I'm using a concentration and a demon's sigil. With this and the elite elixir, you are able to share permanent quickness to your party. I also tried some power iterations of the build, because we get like a crazy 25% damage increase and extra ferocity and another power coefficient, power stat boost. But Necro's core weapons aren't good enough for power damage. I didn't try dagger yet, but axe is pretty average. The auto attack is awful, and pistol just doesn't have a good power coefficient. So it's not really worth, in my opinion. Maybe someone might be able to get a good build together with dagger, or yeah. And I also I used the Well of Darkness and Well of Suffering, and then you kinda also want to have Signet of Spite, but then you don't have enough elixirs to keep the blight up, and it's pretty, meh. So you kinda have to go for a setup like this, but then you lose the power from the Signet, and it's all not really coming together. So power might not be the best. Yeah. So there's also other versions of the Boon build. Some of them do a little bit less damage. We tried some Seele build. It's pretty okay. Damage is quite good. But the problem is you don't really want to tank with this character. And yeah. There's also the Black Doctor version of this build, which also does less damage, but gives overall more boons. But right now, with the setup, if you still want to deal damage, the stat combinations aren't quite there to give permanent fury, quickness, and maybe even 25 might. You would need like something condition damage, condition duration, boon duration, but yeah, these stats don't exist. We'll see what happens when End of Dragon drops. So welcome to the World vs. World section of this video. I am going to show two builds right now, as I tested a Sally version, a hybrid version of this build, and a power version. So first I'm going to cover the traits, and traits are pretty much maximizing survivability. You do a lot of damage, so yeah. Blood Bond gives you a little bit of heal if you manage to crit the enemy a lot. Then you can also attack them for the Vampiric Mark Life Siphon. Pretty standard. You get another Life Siphon from Vampiric and Vampiric Presence. Then you get a little bit of healing power and this trait Unholy Martyr to convert conditions to life force when you leave Shroud. Then when you enter Shroud, it's Speed of Shadows to gain swiftness and remove movement impairing conditions. Then Vital Persistence. Incoming heal increase is pretty nice. The vitality is pretty nice as well, even though it doesn't work with the passive from this trait. That I already covered this interaction, that it's buggy. And we're going for Eternal Life to gain a little bit more protection, because we don't have a second health bar, it's pretty nice to have protection and also to gain life force. In the Harbinger trait line, we are going for increased damage while we have Blight. Pretty nice. Then we go for Implacable Foe, which is, or Implacable, I don't know. Yeah, which is stability on Shroud entry, pretty nice. And Vitality converted to Ferocity. As you can see, we have a pretty big health pool. I'll cover that right in a second. And the last trait will be Quickness Violent Shroud. It's pretty nice to have. I tried the Cascading Corruption, but nah, I don't like it. So let's cover the stats, and then we'll hop over to the utility skills. Stats, I'm going to use Marauder's armor with Fireworks rune, then Marauder's weapons, which I'm going Axe Focus and Pistol Warhorn. On the Axe I have Vision, on the Focus I have Agility, Sigil, and for Pistol Warhorn I'm going to use Energy and Absorption. For my accessories I'm using a Marauder's backpiece and amulet, Wanderer's rings, and Commander's accessories. For the utility skills I'm using the Elixir as a heal. That's pretty nice because you get 3k more healing than in PvE and 5% more life force. And obviously the Elite Elixir, which can be changed to Lich form, but I don't like it that much. Then we're going to use double mobility skills, and the last skill is free to choose from. I found it pretty useful to either use Spectral Armor for extra protection uptime, the Elixir of Anguish for a little bit more quickness and swiftness, Elixir of Bliss if you have heavy condition oriented foes, and this one I don't like. The effects aren't that great. Sure, it's a 30-second stun break, but the rest of the effect is just resistance and that's it, so I don't like it. For the hybrid version of this build, I am going to use a pretty similar setup to my power version of this build. So Blood Magic and Soul Reaping is pretty much the same. I just changed one trait for Septic Corruption because the extra poison is pretty damn nice. And for my equipment I'm just going full Celestial with Durability Rune. And the sigils are Vision and Agility on Axe Focus, and Absorption and Energy on Pistol Warhorn. For the utilities I recommend pretty much the same as in my power version of this build: Elixir of Promise and Elite Elixir and double mobility skill, and then we have something to freely choose from, but it's still mainly Spectral Armor, Elixir of Anguish or Elixir of Bliss.